A brand new Lord of the Rings movie was just announced. It's called The Lord of the Rings Shadow of the Past, and let's discuss it. So my name is Philippa Boyens, welcome to my channel everybody, good morning. And today there has been a new announcement regarding a new production or pre-production of a movie from the Lord of the Rings saga. The movie is called The Lord of the Rings Shadow of the Past. It's been announced by Peter Jackson and Mr. Stephen Colbert, which I saw in the comments a lot of people were unhappy about, specifically because of his political views. I don't really mind that. I think he's a huge Lord of the Rings nerd and he knows a lot about it. He can actually, really bring something interesting into this. But this should go into production right after The Hunt for Gollum. They also announced that the production of that movie is going quite well. So we'll see, how that goes. Now, the actual announcement I will just play right after this, so you can check it yourself. For me, it was a little bit confusing because they mentioned in the announcement that it's going to be focusing on the chapters 3 to 8 of the Fellowship of the Ring, which, basically we saw that in the movie with the exception of Tom Bombadil. Go with me, bear with me. So chapter 3 is company, Frodo leaves the Shire and Sam and Pippin, first encounter with a Black Rider, tone shifts from cozy to tense thriller. We saw that in the movie, right, in the Fellowship. The chapter 4 is a shortcut to mushrooms, where hobbits evade danger through countryside, meet Farmer Maggot, escape across the Brandywire River. Yes, part of it we saw, part of it we didn't. Would be nice to see it, but I don't think it's necessary. Chapter 5, a conspiracy unmasked. Merry reveals he already knows about the ring, and Fellowship early version forms emotionally. Nice, okay, bonding part. And then the Old Forest, that would be interesting. Enter a sentient, hostile forest attacked by an old man willow. This could be an interesting part, a little bit more scary. Then chapter 7 in the house of Tom Bombadil, so we will meet Tom Bombadil, which was not in the movies. And chapter 8, which is the last one, Fog on the Barrow Downs, hobbits captured by a Barrow Wight, receive ancient sword. So this could be actually quite interesting, though we saw most of it in the movie. So it's I was confused when I first saw the announcement. It wasn't clear to me, what they are meaning with this, basically. But what they explained later on in the actual announcement and in the Variety article is that they were basically saying that this movie is going to happen 14 years after the passing of Frodo. Then Sam and Merry and Pippin set out to retrace the first steps of their adventure, and meanwhile Sam's daughter Elanor has discovered a long buried secret and is determined to uncover why the War of the Ring was very nearly lost before it even began. So see, this is kind of a road trip movie and it's a sequel to Lord of the Rings trilogy. I don't really like it that much, to be honest, because it's gonna be going into these flashbacks. But we'll have to wait and see. Of course, I'm a nerd for anything Lord of the Rings. I'm not really concerned by Colbert. But, check out the actual announcement right after this and let me know in the comments what do you think about it. Cheers.
I thought it was time to give you all a Hunt for Gollum update. The first of many that we'll do, little blogs along the way. And Andy Serkis has been busy designing the film. He's going to direct it and obviously play Gollum. We've got a lot of the old team back again, familiar faces and some new faces. But Andy's doing a terrific job. It's looking amazing. The script is coming together really well, and I think it's going to be a really good film, But that is not the only Tolkien movie that we're developing. We've actually got another film that we'll be making after Hunt for Gollum. So I thought I should tell you a little bit about that. Actually, why don't I get somebody else to explain it? Because we've got a very special partner that we're working with, and you can see for yourself. Hang on. There we go. Hello.
Hi, Peter.
Hey, Stephen. Hi. How are you?
How are you doing?
Good. I like all your Tolkien stuff on the wall there. That's that's hard.
Oh, thanks. This is just part of the collection.
So I was just explaining to the folks about the next Tolkien movie after Hunt for Gollum, and the fact that we've partnered up with you to develop the script. So,
yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. Should I tell people what the story is?
As much as you want. Yep.
I will, as much as I can. You know what the books mean to me and what your films mean to me. But the thing I found myself reading over and over again were the 6 chapters early on in the Fellowship that y'all never developed into the first movie back in the day. It's basically, the chapter is Three is Company through Fog on the Barrow Downs. And I thought, oh, wait, maybe that could be its own story that could fit into the larger story. Could we make something that was completely faithful to the books while also being completely faithful to the movies that you guys had already made? And I started talking it over with my son, Peter, who's also a screenwriter. And we worked out what we thought would work, especially as a framing device for that story. And it took me a few years to scrape my courage into a pile to give you a call. But about 2 years ago, I did. You liked it enough to talk to me about it. And ever since then, the two of us have been working with the brilliant Philippa Boyens on how to develop this story. And we recently took it to Richard Brenner at New Line and Pam Abdy and Mike DeLuca at Warner Brothers. And I could not be happier to say that they loved it. And so that's what we're going to be working on.
Fantastic. Now, are you sure you've got the time, though? Because,
That I did not think I would have the time. As much as I love it, I knew I couldn't do that and do the show at the same time. But it turns out I'm going to be free starting this summer.
Well, isn't that fortunate?
Isn't that a you catastrophe right there? So if you'll excuse me, I've got to finish a television show and I've got to write a movie script, but I will see you all in the Shire.
Okay. All righty. Bye-bye. See you, Stephen.
Thanks, Peter.
Bye. Bye-bye.